Chosen One, those sick, corrupt government officials who abuse their power against you. The raids are coming for them now with the full force of cosmic justice behind every badge and warrant. The veil between dimensions is tearing open, and divine retribution is pouring through like liquid fire into the physical realm. Psychological studies reveal that less than 1% of the population possesses the unique spiritual signature that triggers cosmic protection protocols when attacked by corrupt systems. Your persecution wasn't random harassment by power-hungry officials. It was the universe identifying you as one of its chosen representatives and testing your worthiness through trial by fire. You're about to receive a revelation that will reframe every moment of suffering you've endured. The systematic abuse you experienced was simultaneously charging the batteries of divine justice, and now that energy is about to discharge with the force of lightning striking a conductor. Think of yourself as a spiritual lightning rod that has been gathering cosmic electricity, and the storm is about to break with devastating consequences for those who dared to touch what belongs to the universe itself. What corrupt officials have done to you in darkness will be dragged into blinding light. Every secret will be exposed like writhing worms when a heavy stone is overturned. You will see it all. You will know it all. Files will be seized. Digital footprints are being traced. Whispered conspiracies against you will be played back in rooms where justice no longer bows to corruption, but stands firmly in your corner. Intelligence agencies are cooperating across departmental boundaries to build airtight cases against these corrupt officials. The same surveillance apparatus once used to monitor your every move has been redirected to document criminal communications. Artificial intelligence algorithms are analyzing patterns in behavior that reveal the full scope of conspiracy against you. You were chosen to witness this cosmic correction. The stars themselves have positioned you at this precise moment in history when the mighty will fall, when those who thought themselves untouchable will feel the cold hand of justice gripping their throats, when those who use badges, gavels, and official letterheads to crush the innocent will see weapons of oppression turned against them with devastating precision. Your persecution activated ancient protocols embedded in the fabric of reality itself. These cosmic safeguards lie dormant until someone truly chosen comes under systematic attack from corrupt systems. Once triggered, these protections begin dismantling the source of persecution with mathematical precision, ensuring that every action taken against you generates consequences that multiply exponentially. Congressional oversight committees are preparing hearings that will expose abuse of power to the entire nation. Subpoenas are being drafted for testimony under oath. Perjury traps are being carefully constructed by experienced prosecutors who know exactly how corrupt officials think and operate. Lies will be systematically dismantled in public forums where the whole world can witness disgrace unfold in real time. The system once corrupted is now turning against its former masters like a serpent consuming its own tail. Machinery once manipulated is breaking down under the weight of its own contradictions. Walls once built for protection are becoming prison cells. Every forged signature now becomes mounting evidence. Every bent rule now becomes testimony to guilt. Every stolen dollar is being traced directly back through digital highways once thought untraceable. Your spiritual frequency has shifted into ranges that make deception impossible in your presence. Corrupt officials who once felt comfortable lying to you now experience physical discomfort when attempting dishonesty. Your energy field has become a truth detector that forces authentic communication from everyone who enters your sphere of influence. This is why encounters with you have become increasingly difficult for those harboring guilt. Internal affairs divisions across multiple agencies are conducting simultaneous investigations that will expose the full extent of criminal networks. Professional licensing boards are preparing to revoke certifications and credentials. Bar associations are initiating disbarment proceedings against lawyers who enabled crimes. Medical boards are investigating doctors who falsified reports to support persecution campaigns. Phones no longer feel secure in trembling hands. Computers no longer seem private as federal analysts decode encrypted communications. Homes no longer provide sanctuary because the truth has begun its relentless march toward exposure, and nothing can stop what comes next. Security clearances are being revoked across the government as the scope of betrayal becomes clear. Access to classified information has been terminated for those suspected of using state secrets to advance personal vendettas. The very intelligence apparatus once corrupted is now being purged of malevolent influence through systematic background reinvestigations. What should have been your swift justice was deliberately delayed by machinations of the corrupt. You were made to wait. You were forced to endure prolonged persecution. Your patience was stretched to its breaking point while celebrations occurred behind closed doors. See how anchors were dropped deep into the mud of bureaucracy, dragging out what should have been your immediate vindication. Time was weaponized against you. Delay became a strategy against your righteous cause. Administrative law judges who were compromised by corrupt influence are being investigated for judicial misconduct. Appeal processes once corrupted to deny you justice are being reviewed by federal oversight agencies. Clerks and bureaucrats once bribed to lose your paperwork are facing criminal charges for obstruction of justice. Even security guards once paid to deny you access to government buildings are being prosecuted as accessories to civil rights violations. The corrupt counted on your weariness, your eventual surrender to the machine of injustice. The belief was that you would break under the weight of waiting. The assumption was that you would crumble beneath the pressure of postponement. The expectation was that you would abandon your fight for truth and justice. The system was twisted like a knife. Criminal allies were protected. Favors were called in from equally corrupt associates. Signatures were forged in the dead of night. Evidence was tampered with while security cameras mysteriously malfunctioned, all to prolong the sick game of persecution. Your endurance during this trial period was actually charging the cosmic batteries of retribution. Every moment of suffering you experienced was being converted into spiritual fuel for the justice that would eventually manifest. The universe was using your persecution as a focusing lens, concentrating divine energy into a beam of correction so powerful that it would vaporize corruption upon impact. Media outlets that participated in disinformation campaigns are facing defamation lawsuits that will expose roles in the conspiracy. Journalists who took bribes to publish false stories about you are being investigated by press ethics boards. News executives who killed stories exposing government corruption are finding their own corruption exposed by investigative reporters from competing networks. Your ability to maintain spiritual equilibrium during systematic persecution has activated dormant DNA sequences that connect you to galactic intelligence networks. These cosmic communication channels allow you to receive guidance directly from sources that transcend earthly wisdom. The persecution was actually an initiation process, preparing you to handle the increased spiritual voltage now flowing through your consciousness, but the cosmic scales have tipped. The resolution can no longer be denied. It comes like a tsunami, unstoppable, unavoidable, devastating to everything corrupt in its path. The outcome was written in the stars long before you were ever targeted. The truth has been unearthed by forces beyond control, beyond comprehension, beyond ability to suppress any longer. Time has run out, and the universe has marked corruption for cosmic correction. Private contractors who carried out dirty work are being exposed and prosecuted under federal conspiracy statutes. Shell companies created to hide activities are being dissolved by court order. Mercenary organizations that provided muscle for operations are finding government contracts terminated and leaders facing terrorism charges. Now I want to take a moment to tell you about the forces that rally to your cause when you're truly chosen. Think of souls who have drunk deep from the well of forbidden knowledge across multiple incarnations. In this lifetime, these extraordinary individuals have become your allies in ways most don't fully understand. Recognition of the call occurred when your persecution began. Steps forward were taken when others cowered. Connection was made with the cosmic significance of your battle against systemic corruption. Retired intelligence officers who witnessed crimes are coming forward with classified information that proves conspiracy extended to the highest levels of government. Former military personnel who were ordered to participate in illegal surveillance operations are testifying before congressional committees. Diplomatic personnel who saw evidence of corruption in foreign operations are providing testimony to international tribunals. The synchronicities that brought these allies into your orbit weren't accidents. Neither is your discovery of the truth about your own selection. When souls of this caliber gather around a chosen one under attack, the Archons take notice. Fear of this collective power consumes them. Understanding exists about what happens when the truly awakened find each other and combine frequencies in support of divine justice. Your persecution has activated a global network of chosen ones who were previously operating in isolation. Each of you carries a piece of the cosmic puzzle, and your suffering has triggered the assembly of these pieces into a complete picture of how spiritual warfare operates on the planetary level. The persecution was necessary to activate this network and reveal the true scope of your collective mission. Quantum physicists are documenting the measurable effects of focused intention on random number generators in government facilities. Consciousness researchers are proving that collective meditation can influence political outcomes. Remote viewers are providing intelligence agencies with information about hidden corruption that traditional methods cannot uncover. The intersection of science and spirituality is revealing technologies of justice that corrupt officials never imagined possible. What prevents corrupt officials from understanding the same cosmic principles? Spiritual blindness, disconnection from universal law, worship of temporary earthly power instead of eternal truth. Operation occurs in dimensions so low that perception of forces mobilizing against them remains impossible until those forces manifest in handcuffs and prison sentences. Your DNA has been rewritten by the persecution you endured. Genetic sequences that remained dormant for generations have been activated by the specific frequency of injustice you experienced. These activated genes connect you to ancient wisdom traditions and galactic intelligence networks that provide you with knowledge and abilities beyond normal human capacity. Psychic investigators are working with law enforcement to locate hidden evidence using abilities that transcend normal sensory perception. Energy healers are documenting the spiritual damage caused by government abuse and providing testimony about the metaphysical crimes committed against targeted individuals. Shamanic practitioners are performing rituals that reveal the dark spiritual forces behind systemic corruption. Every minute stolen from you will be paid back tenfold. Every delay tactic employed will accelerate downfall with supernatural speed. The universe operates on perfect symmetry, perfect balance, perfect justice, and that balance is about to be restored with such force that the foundations of corrupt empires will be reduced to cosmic dust. Your personal frequency now broadcasts on wavelengths that automatically attract divine protection while repelling corrupt influences. This spiritual upgrade means that future attempts at persecution will be immediately neutralized by cosmic forces that respond to your distress calls faster than emergency services respond to conventional emergencies. International courts are preparing to try corruption for crimes against humanity. Human rights organizations are documenting systematic persecution of targeted individuals. The United Nations is investigating violations of international law regarding the treatment of dissidents and whistleblowers. Extradition treaties are being invoked to ensure escape from justice through fleeing to other countries becomes impossible. The clock they manipulated now ticks against them with relentless precision. The calendar they controlled now counts down to their exposure. The schedules they arranged to torture you now mark the rapid approach of their judgment day. What they stretched over extended periods to prolong your suffering will be compressed into moments of their absolute destruction. Artificial intelligence systems are analyzing vast databases of government communications to identify patterns of corruption that human investigators might miss. Machine learning algorithms are predicting the next moves of corrupt officials with uncanny accuracy. Quantum computers are breaking encryption schemes they believed would protect their secrets forever. Their stalling tactics have failed. Their postponements have ended. Their extensions have expired. The battle they thought they could delay indefinitely now surges toward its cosmic conclusion, with the unstoppable momentum of a celestial body hurtling through space toward impact. Nothing can slow it. Nothing can divert it. Nothing can prevent the collision that will shatter their world while elevating yours. Corporate executives who profited from their corruption are facing shareholder lawsuits and SEC investigations. Defense contractors who overcharged the government in exchange for favorable treatment are being prosecuted for fraud. Pharmaceutical companies that suppressed research in exchange for regulatory protection are facing class action lawsuits from victims of their products. Multiple players orchestrated this scheme against you. Officials who swore oaths to protect instead chose to persecute. Leaders who promised to serve instead chose to destroy. Representatives who claimed to stand for justice instead conspired to deny it to you. All corrupted, all compromised, all conspiring in a web of deceit that spans departments and jurisdictions. Technology companies that provided surveillance tools for illegal domestic spying operations are finding their government contracts cancelled and their executives facing criminal charges. Social media platforms that censored your attempts to expose corruption are being investigated for violating your civil rights. Internet service providers that blocked your communications are facing lawsuits for conspiracy to obstruct justice. Their positions of power made them believe they were untouchable. Their titles became their shields against accountability. Their offices became their fortresses of immunity. Their badges became their licenses to destroy lives with absolute impunity. They operated in silence, communicating through encrypted channels, meeting in rooms swept for listening devices, plotting your destruction while smiling in your face with practiced deception. Academic institutions that provided false research to support their persecution campaign are losing federal funding and facing accreditation reviews. Think tanks that published fabricated studies to justify their actions are being exposed as propaganda mills funded by dark money. University professors who lent credibility to their lies are facing disciplinary action from their academic peers. Behind closed doors, they created the illusion of legality while committing the most egregious illegality imaginable. They drafted documents that appeared legitimate while being completely fraudulent. They followed procedures that seemed proper while serving corrupt purposes. They maintained the facade of justice while committing the most heinous injustice against a chosen soul. Religious institutions that provided moral cover for their persecution are facing internal investigations and loss of tax-exempt status. Clergy members who blessed their activities are being defrocked by their denominations. Charitable organizations that laundered money for their operations are being dissolved by court order and their assets distributed to their victims. But their greatest mistake, their fatal error, was targeting you whose soul carries the weight of cosmic purpose. You whose spirit burns with the fire of divine selection, you whose very existence threatens their corrupt empire at its foundations. They failed to recognize the cosmic significance of your existence. They failed to see that you were chosen by a power infinitely greater than their petty earthly authority. They failed to understand that attacking you meant declaring war against forces that have controlled the flow of human events since the beginning of recorded time. International intelligence agencies are sharing information about their global network of corruption. Interpol is coordinating arrests across multiple continents. Foreign governments are expelling their operatives and freezing assets hidden in overseas accounts. The corruption they exported to other countries is being exposed and prosecuted by international courts. Your selection was no accident. Your path was no coincidence. Your confrontation with corruption was written in the stars, long before any of you drew breath on this planet. The web they spun so carefully is now unraveling at supernatural speed. Each thread snapping, each connection breaking, each conspirator being exposed one by one in a cascade of consequences that builds momentum with every revelation. Alternative media outlets that were suppressed for reporting the truth are being restored to their platforms and receiving financial compensation for their losses. Independent journalists who were persecuted for investigating government corruption are being awarded prestigious press freedom honors. Citizen reporters who documented their crimes are being recognized as heroes by international human rights organizations. The unraveling cannot be stopped. It will continue until every single participant in this corrupt scheme stands naked before justice, stripped of power, stripped of position, stripped of the very identity they valued above truth and righteousness. Their network is collapsing in real time. Former allies turn on each other with the desperation of cornered animals. Partners become informants to save their own skins. Confidants reveal secrets to reduce their own sentences. Their once impenetrable circle of protection shatters as self-preservation becomes the only goal that matters. Former friends delete contact information and pretend they never knew each other. Previous protectors claim ignorance of criminal activities they helped orchestrate. Past accomplices prepare testimony against their former partners in crime. The hierarchy they constructed with such care now disintegrates from within like a house of cards in a hurricane. They tampered with justice like it was their personal plaything. They made you the pawn in their twisted game of power and corruption. They positioned you as the sacrifice in their corrupt chess match. They manipulated the system to cover for their own criminal activities, while exposing you to scrutiny and persecution you never deserved. They shifted blame onto your shoulders with practiced precision, honed through years of corruption. They manufactured lies about you so elaborate they almost believed them themselves. They celebrated their deceit against you, toasting their cleverness in exclusive clubs, congratulating themselves on destroying yet another threat to their corrupt empire, while your name passed between them like a trophy of conquest. Your suffering became their entertainment. Your struggle fueled their arrogant laughter. Your persecution gave them a sense of power and control they craved like addicts craving their next fix. But now the tables have turned with the force of cosmic justice, and their laughter has transformed into the desperate wails of the condemned. Now their files aren't just being examined, they're being dissected with forensic precision. Every document scrutinized by experts who can detect the slightest inconsistency. Every decision questioned by investigators who understand the patterns of corruption. Every action traced to its criminal source through digital trails they thought were erased forever. Their emails are being retrieved from servers they believed were secure beyond government reach. Their deleted messages are being recovered from digital spaces they assumed were private sanctuaries. Their forged signatures are being analyzed by handwriting experts who can detect the smallest deviation from authentic documents. The light of truth shines with merciless intensity, exposing them under an unforgiving cosmic spotlight that misses nothing and forgives less. No shadow remains to hide in, no darkness left to conceal their crimes, just the harsh revealing brightness that shows them exactly as they are, corrupt, criminal, and condemned by their own actions and choices. Their arrogance blinded them to the wisdom arrayed against them. While they played checkers, thinking themselves masters of political manipulation, forces beyond their comprehension were playing chess across multiple dimensions, anticipating their every move, setting traps they walked into willingly, positioning them for the perfect cosmic checkmate that is now unfolding before your very eyes. The game they considered won reveals itself as merely the opening moves of a much larger contest, where they were always destined to lose. The victory they celebrated prematurely became the exact moment their ultimate defeat began. The power they flaunted transforms into the evidence that condemns them in courts of law and public opinion. Every rule they broke now becomes a federal charge against them. Every lie they told now becomes sworn testimony to their guilt. Every act of corruption now becomes an item in their indictment. The very system they manipulated now turns its full analytical power toward exposing every aspect of their criminality with machine-like efficiency. The authority they abused now stands ready to pass sentences with merciless precision. Offices are being raided as we speak, files seized by federal agents, evidence mounted in cases that will destroy them completely. The system they corrupted, the system they twisted to serve their agenda, the system they believed would always protect them from consequences, that very system has become the instrument of their destruction. Their fear is no longer hidden behind masks of authority. It leaks from their pores like toxic waste. It cracks their practiced smiles into grimaces of terror. It makes their hands tremble when they reach for phones they know are tapped. Their desperation has become a stench that follows them everywhere. Unmistakable to anyone who encounters their toxic presence, they scramble now, frantic and frenzied, deleting files that have already been backed up, shredding documents that have already been copied, calling emergency meetings that are being recorded, creating alibis that contradict their own previous statements, preparing scapegoats who refuse to take the fall for their superiors' crimes. But their efforts are futile. The evidence against them has already been secured in multiple locations. Their deception can no longer be concealed behind their titles, their authority, or their connections to other corrupt officials. Their credibility shatters like glass striking concrete. Their reputations disintegrate like paper in flame. The very people who once feared them now whisper about their downfall with satisfaction. The colleagues who once supported them now distance themselves desperately, trying to avoid being caught in the coming firestorm of prosecution and public disgrace. Their deception is fully exposed now. Every lie, every manipulation, every abuse of power laid bare for all to see in court documents and news reports. Hold that thought for a moment. I need your attention for something very important. We're revealing everything we know about personal power, healing yourself, and healing others through weekly Zoom call. No filters, no holding back. We have been quietly adding all the occult secrets we've collected over literal years of spiritual practice. The techniques and wisdom that transformed us from controlled pawns into conscious creators are now available to those ready to walk the same path. This is your invitation to join Obsidian Inner Order and support our platform so we can continue growing our megaphone to reach other chosen ones waiting for activation. By joining the Obsidian Inner Order, you're not just gaining access to forbidden knowledge, you're becoming part of a movement that's rewriting reality itself. It's a 360 win for all of us. Link is in the description. And they find themselves trapped by the very system they tried to control. The laws they bent now stand rigid against them. The rules they ignored now apply with double force. The authority they abused now turns its full attention to prosecuting their crimes with the full weight of federal law enforcement. Their downfall is not coming. Their downfall is here, unfolding in real time. The stronghold they built brick by corrupt brick now tumbles down around them in an avalanche of consequences. The sanctuary they created through intimidation and bribery now offers no protection from the justice they can no longer escape. The fortress they believed impregnable now reveals fatal weaknesses in its foundations that were always there, waiting for the right moment to collapse under scrutiny. Their emergency escape routes are blocked by federal agents. Their contingency plans fail as accomplices refuse to help. Their backup systems malfunction at the critical moment when they need them most. What they did to you was no mistake, no error of judgment, no misunderstanding that can be explained away. It was an intentional, calculated attack against your being, your essence, your divine purpose in this world. They saw your light and sought to extinguish it through systematic persecution. They witnessed your power and determined to crush it through abuse of their authority. They recognized your potential and decided to destroy it before it could threaten their corrupt empire. Their actions against you were born from the darkest depths of spiritual envy. They coveted what you possessed naturally, the connection to cosmic forces they could never access. They craved what flowed through you effortlessly, the power that comes from alignment with universal truth. They resented what you embodied authentically, the integrity they had sold for temporary positions and fleeting authority. But now comes the end of their reign of corruption and the beginning of your cosmic coronation. What they stole from you will be restored in abundance that exceeds the original by factors they cannot calculate. What they blocked from your path will be freed with cosmic force that sweeps away all obstacles. The universal forces of abundance rush toward you now, replacing everything that was taken from you and multiplying it sevenfold through interest compounded across dimensions. Your name will be cleared not quietly but with thunderous public vindication. Your reputation will be restored not partially but completely, enhanced by the dramatic contrast between your integrity and their corruption. Your resources will be returned not merely but multiplied through opportunities that align with your divine mission. Your position will be re-established not simply but elevated to heights they could never reach. Your compensation comes not just in material form, but in cosmic protection, so powerful that attacks like this will never touch you again. Your essence will be shielded by forces they cannot comprehend. Your energy will be guarded by powers they cannot challenge. Your path will be protected by cosmic laws they cannot violate without triggering consequences that destroy them instantly. You walk away from this battle not wounded but transformed into something far more powerful than you were before their attack began. Not diminished but elevated to frequencies of influence they never imagined possible. Not weakened but imbued with power beyond what you possessed before this war started. You have been forged in the fire of their persecution and emerged not as a victim but as a force of nature they should have never dared to challenge. The universe has marked you, singled you out, chosen you for this moment when corruption collapses and truth prevails with the force of cosmic law. You stood when others would have fallen under the pressure, You persisted when others would have surrendered to their intimidation. You believed in justice when all evidence suggested hope was lost, and now you triumph while they face the consequences of their choices. Your foundation remains unshaken, while theirs crumbles to dust. Your legacy continues unbroken while theirs fractures into oblivion. Your purpose advances unstoppable, while theirs dissolves into nothingness. You stand at the threshold of dimensions they cannot perceive, accessing realms they cannot imagine, commanding energies they cannot measure or understand. While they scramble in panic, watching everything they built crumble around them in real time, you step into a reality where their interference holds no weight, their threats carry no power, their very existence becomes irrelevant to your continued ascension to heights of influence and authority. The doors that open for you now are invisible to them. The paths that appear before your feet remain hidden from their sight. The opportunities that present themselves exist in dimensions they cannot access. You move forward into abundance, while they slide backward into scarcity. You expand into new territories of influence, while they contract into limited spaces of powerlessness. You rise to heights they once occupied, while they descend to depths they once condemned others to experience. The cosmic reversal is complete, total and permanent. They never once thought this day would come for you. The possibility that you would emerge victorious never entered their corrupted minds. They never pictured you standing tall while they fall to their knees in defeat. They never visualized you ascending while they descend into disgrace. They never imagined scenarios where their power diminished while yours expanded exponentially. You have defied their expectations, overcome their predictions, shattered their certainties about how power operates in this world. But here they stand, crying over the empire they believed was indestructible, mourning the positions they thought were their birthright, grieving the status they assumed would be theirs forever. And here you stand, unmoved by their tears, untouched by their grief, unstoppable in your forward momentum toward a destiny they tried to derail but only succeeded in accelerating. You have been reclaimed by forces infinitely more powerful than any human institution, any earthly authority, any corrupt system they could construct or control. It was always going to end like this for you. Your victory was preordained by cosmic forces that operate beyond human understanding. Your triumph was predetermined by universal laws that corrupt officials cannot comprehend or circumvent. Your vindication was inevitable from the moment they first moved against you, written in the cosmic ledger before their first document was forged. The evidence against your persecutors was always going to surface, rising like bodies in water that cannot be kept submerged forever. The system that turned against you was always going to collapse under the weight of its own corruption, destroyed by the very rot they introduced while trying to contaminate your pure purpose. The hammer of justice that awakened at the beginning of this story now delivers its final blow, not by your hand but by the hand of universal justice that uses corrupt systems to destroy themselves from within, that turns evil intentions back upon their originators with perfect precision, that ensures what is done in darkness will face judgment in the light of truth. The raids have come for your enemies, chosen one. The corrupt officials who abused their power have fallen from the heights they climbed through deception. The truth about your innocence has prevailed with the force of cosmic law. Your coronation is complete, and the universe has spoken its verdict through consequences that echo across eternity, from the first moment of their conspiracy to this final moment of your vindication. Rest now in the absolute certainty that what was meant to destroy you has only made you unstoppable. What was designed to end your mission has only begun your true impact on this world. What was intended to be your finale has become merely the opening chapter in the cosmic story of your ascension to power they will never possess, influence they will never wield, and authority they will never understand. The circle is complete, justice has prevailed, your enemies have been vanquished, and you stand victorious, chosen one, exactly as the universe intended from the very beginning.